Welcome to Listertainment, the channel who doesn't deliver on the entertainment it promises. Today's list will be all about tough mother effing MMA fighters who were able to fight through a painful injury that severely limited their capabilities and were still able to pull off the win. Some of these got injured early in the first round and had to fight through 2 more rounds to get the decision, while others went all out and were able to get a KO. If you happen to enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe down below. Also make sure to turn on those notifications. And please let me know in the comments, how bad would you have to get injured in order to quit? I would probably quit by just jamming my finger. Uriah Hall faced off against Thiago Santos at UFC 175 back in 2014, and Hall was able to win by a decision after 3 rounds of fighting. In this fight, Hall broke one of his toes late in the first round after throwing a front kick.
I felt like I watched the fight again. I looked down and I saw my toe on the other side.
He has no right being in there with you. No right.
So
he has a broken foot.
Adrenaline is a great painkiller.
He actually looked down and realized that his toe was facing the wrong direction, but he still lasted the entire fight, fighting like if nothing had happened. He was able to fight through the pain and keep moving like he normally does, throwing kicks and everything. He did state afterward that he could feel the bone shift as he moved, which this fact alone would have made a regular person quit. But I can't even imagine the pain he must have felt. At UFC 188 in 2015, Eddie Alvarez was able to defeat Gilbert Melendez in the co-main event by a decision. He was able to accomplish this even after getting his nose broken, and he committed the horrible mistake of blowing his nose, which caused his left eye to swell up.
And Eddie Alvarez fights very out with Michael Johnson. So he's willing to do so. Oh, Eddie's landed 2 of those and he went up.
This all happened in the first round, which meant that Alvarez had to continue fighting and somehow pull off the win with limited vision. Melendez was up on strikes by more than double, but Eddie was able to win the takedown game and was awarded the split decision victory. During the main event at UFC 115 between Rich Franklin and Chuck Liddell, Franklin had his forearm broken by a powerful kick that Liddell was able to deliver early in the first round.
Chuck Liddell, outro chute forte agora mais embaixo do Liddell. Chuck Liddell, outro chute forte agora mais embaixo do Liddell. O Rich Franklin não tá fugindo da trocação não.
Franklin could hear the bone clicking on his left arm throughout the rest of the fight. His game plan at first was not to stand in front of him, but after he broke his arm, he started throwing with everything and was able to knock him out with only seconds remaining in the first round. He still tried to swing with that arm, which is just amazing.
E ele parte para dentro, pegou no queixo, vai que nem louco Chuck Liddell e agora leva a resposta de Rich Franklin. Agora uma cotovelada cruzada e agora foi detonado o Rich Franklin, desarmou o disjuntor do Chuck Liddell.
Pretty sure everyone knows that Forrest Griffin is a pretty tough guy. And he further proved this when he fought against Edson Ramos in his backyard in Brazil back in 2003. He was able to win this fight by a first round knockout, but not before Ramos broke his arm.
Lutador Moreno ali, o paredão branco. É uma luta de gigantes no Machadinho que você acompanha com exclusividade.
É pesada, barbaridade aí o braço do paredão, hein? Pode pintar até um nocaute.
Olha só que sequência de golpes.
Ajustar aí um pouco, ele soca aí um pouco aberto. Opa!
Entrou um golpe duríssimo, duríssimo.
He also blocked the kick with his left arm, and the kick was so powerful that it broke his forearm. He mentions that he felt the pain instantly, but was able to quickly forget about it since he was being pummeled by Ramos. He was able to win this fight in the first round by a knockout using his right hand. The most amazing part about this was that all the fighters during that time lacked money, and he wasn't really able to afford to implant a plate to heal his arm. At the first ever UFC event held on Fox Sports 1 back in 2003, Conor McGregor fought against Max Holloway. Holloway was able to hang around in this fight for the entire 3 rounds, but lost a pretty clear unanimous decision.
National amateur boxing champion. And very much, as you say, shades of Gunnar Nelson, but just a great fluidity. With those legs, they'll be there for him. Another thing to take into account is
It turns out that McGregor had hurt his knee pop during the second round of this fight, but managed to push through the pain and win convincingly. After he went to the doctor, it was revealed that he had actually torn his ACL and strained his MCL. This is a very painful injury that puts out guys for up to a year, but somehow McGregor was still able to win. This really speaks as to how good he really is, because Holloway is an excellent fighter also. Another guy who tore his ACL was Ben Rothwell when he faced off against Gilbert Yvel. He tore his ACL during his first takedown attempt during the fight at UFC 115 back in 2011. The pain that comes from tearing your ACL is incredible, and you can see tons of football players just lay on the grass when this happens. But Rothwell just kept on fighting for 3 full rounds and ended up winning by unanimous decision. His bad luck continued after the fight since he was not able to get surgery for another month. That just sucks. And one of the most disappointing championship fights in the heavyweight division occurred in 2011 between Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos. The fight was disappointing because it only lasted 1 minute and 4 seconds after Dos Santos was able to knock out Cain.
Unless he gets caught early.
The incredible part was that Dos Santos had actually torn his meniscus weeks before the fight and had to get around in crutches. He wasn't going to miss this opportunity at the championship, so he fought on and got the incredible knockout. He got the surgery after the fight and was out for a month. One of the toughest and most durable guys in the UFC has been Randy Couture, and he had to live up to this name when he fought Gabriel Gonzaga. Gonzaga was able to throw a very powerful kick that broke Couture's arm.
This is where it's dangerous, though. Everywhere's dangerous, and there's why.
Job of avoiding the clinch.
Oh, he caught him with a big kick there.
Unbelievably great
shots left and right. Randy Couture.
Trying to create distance. Deep taking a good look at him.
The broken arm occurred midway through the fight, so Couture had to fight for 1.5 rounds until he was finally able to win by a TKO at 1 minute and 37 seconds of the third round. Couture was 44 years old during this fight, but he was getting a chance at the title, so he had to take it, and somehow he was able to win with his broken arm. He dominated this fight both while on their feet and also when they went to the ground. When Demetrious Johnson was able to beat Miguel Torres back in 2011 during UFC 130, many people did not like the decision and many expected Johnson to get trounced, but he ended up pulling out the win by a majority decision.
Jackson, Matt, the Hammer Hamill. Frank Mir, Roy, your cable or satellite provider. Use your remote or go to UFC.com. And it's Johnson who initiates the takedown. Clinch game. Mighty Mouse again drive.
Johnson had a huge scare during this fight since at one point he tried to land a leg kick, but Torres was able to check it. Johnson felt extreme pain and he was sure he had broken his leg. He had to fight for another 2 rounds after feeling this incredible pain and fear, since he stated that as soon as he stepped back after the kick, he heard 3 crunches and was sure he broke something. It turns out that he broke his fibula bone. He was still able to pull out the close win in the end.
Playing the winner by unanimous decision, Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson.
The great GSP also had a fight where he got injured and had to battle through it in order to pull out the unanimous decision. This happened at UFC 129 when he fought Jake Shields. The fight turned out to be a dud, and many say that it was the most boring fight of all time. This could have been because GSP received an eye poke in the second round, and this greatly limited his vision.
There's like Dan Henderson.
There it is. Using that big right hand off the jab.
There's the right hand again. This is just such a huge difference in the stand-up ability.
St. Pierre ended up winning the fight via unanimous decision, but people built up this fight to be a crazy fight on the ground since both fighters have excellent jiu-jitsu skills and expected GSP to win the stand-up game, which he did have a couple of good moments when he knocked down Shields with his jab and a head kick, but overall it was fairly boring. Vision is pretty important, so GSP was probably being cautious since they say that the strikes that are more likely to knock you out are the ones that you don't see coming. I have to think that the guys who compete in combat sports have to be made of something that I just don't have. I just don't see any way that I would be able to fight professionally, even if I trained all my life and would be great at fighting. I just think that I don't have the competitive nature to punch somebody who hasn't wronged me in some way. I just don't get it, but I sure do love watching others do it. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.